Today I will discuss about macro variables. Macro variables, what are the macro variables? Macro variables are what are the macro variables? SAS treat each macro variable is a character variable because backend when it's run a character based language. Backend is runs character based language. Default value is also space because space is without values, that is the character without value, that is the space. That's why default value is space. Macro value can be stored in up to 32,767 characters, like a SAS character variables. Macro variables default stored in symbol tables, but SAS variables default stored in data set. Macro variable default stored in symbol tables, but SAS variables default stored in data set. Macro variables are types. Macro variables are two types: system-defined variables, user-defined variables. System-defined variables. These are created by the system, which are start with sys keyboard, which are start with sys keyword, which are start with sys keywords. That all of the variables are system-defined variables. User-defined variables. These variables are created by the SAS programmers. These are two types. One One is the global macro variables, other one is the local macro variables. Global macro variables are created in anywhere in application, either inside of the macro variable or outside of the macro. Even usage of the macro variables that are also inside or outside is no problem. But local variables must it inside of the macro variable, not used in the outside of the macro variables. Not, it does not create outside of the macro black. It's only created inside of the macro black. But global macro variables created either inside or outside. But local macro variables only created inside of the macro variables. Percentage global macro variables are values are created by the percentage local statement, but sorry, variables are created by the percentage local statement, but values are created by the values are assigned by the variables are created by percentage local statement. Values are created by the percentage let statement. Values are assigned by percentage let statement. Variables are created by the percentage local statement. Values are assigned by the percentage let statement. But these are stores in a global macro variables are stores in a global symbol tables. Global symbol tables. Global macro variables are stores in a global symbol tables. Yes, I already mentioned here. Global macro variable stores in a global symbol tables. Global symbols tables. Global macro variables are stored in a stage code. Global symbol tables. Hmm. Global macro variables are stored in global symbol tables. Local macro local macro variables are created only inside of the macro variable. Does not created outside of the macro way. These are stores in a local symbols tables. Percentage local statement created by the macro variables. Percentage local statement used for it to create a macro variables. Percentage let statement assign values for a macro variable. Assign values for a macro variables. Next, percentage push statement. It resolves the macro variables in a log window. Percent resolve the macro variables in log window. Usage of global and local macro. These are both applicable by a global and local macro variables for using time. These are displayed in a log window only. When attend I was attend first interview that asked that how to resolve macro variable in a log window. That is the one of the that is answer is the percentage statement. Uh, what are the all variables? How to resolve all variables which are created in a log window? How to resolve all variables? The answer is the percentage symbol is an option. Symbol is an option we will use. We will use the and the time I did not say that answer. I did not know that answer. After get that question, I asked my sir, my sir said that that is the symbol is an option. I will always applicable to all variables. All variables, that is the answer is symbol is option. Only we required variable, that is the percentage put statement. Percentage put statement is symbol is an option. These are the we will discuss later about the symbol and no printer. These options that we will discuss later. Percentage percentage symbol, it is reference of the macro statement and is reference of the macro variables. It is syntax of the macro variable. This is the both answer we will use with macro variables. Only one variable we will use with macro variables. Only one variable we will use it after the macro variable we will end with the period. This is the advanced technique. It is the later technique. This is the old technique. This is advanced technique. This is the before technique. It is the old technique. This how work with the global macro variables. Global macro variables created with global statement. Global macro variable created with global statement. We already discussed before, but values assigned by the percentage left statement. Values percentage percentage left statement. These are global macro variable. We have to write inside or outside, no problem. But local macro variable compulsory will write only inside of the macro block. Percentage. These are of the macro variables using percentage statement. These these are like a text display, like a text values are. These are like a variables. In this case, we will mention this also like this and two ones, one under one under with one two ones without period, one under without period, one under with period. We also like this. With percentage global where one where two where. I mean values are 200 5 and 0. These are outside of the macro variables. How to resolve inside of the how to use macro variables inside of the macro block. Stores in a macro catalog as a GKR. Like 200 S205, and this is the inside of the macro block. How work with local macro variables. Local macro variables only write inside of the macro variable, not writing outside of the macro variable. Hmm. Yes. AE lab like this. Only write inside of the macro variable, not write out. Not write outside of the macro variable. Only write inside of the macro variable, local macro variable. Don't write outside of the macro variable. So, yeah, I also mentioned here percentage put statement. Only required variables we have to resolve in a log window. Symbol is an option. We have to all macro variables we have to resolve in a log window. That is I asked when I I asked before this also. But this is my first interview question. Percentage push statement, percentage. I have only know about this person. I know both about this. And that time నాకు తెలుసు పర్సంటేజ్ పుష్ స్టేట్మెంట్ సింబాలిజన్ స్టేట్మెంట్ బోత్ ఆర్ నాకు తెలుసు బట్ పర్సంటేజ్ పుష్ స్టేట్మెంట్ నాకు తెలుసు సింబాలిజన్ ఆప్షన్ మల్టిపుల్ వాల్యూస్ కి రిజాల్వ్ మల్టిపుల్ వేరియబుల్ వాల్యూస్ కి రిజాల్వ్ చేస్తారని పర్సంటేజ్ పుష్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఓన్లీ రిక్వైర్డ్ వాల్యూస్ రిజాల్వింగ్ ఏ లాగ్ విండో బట్ దే ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఐ డోంట్ నో ఐడియా అబౌట్ దిస్ ఆన్ ద టైమ్ that after that I asked my sir only symbolism option interview asked me this like question. Tomorrow I will I will take a section about how to use the same statement of the first global macro variables and the local macro variables.